Hey, Connected Life, Dr. Steve here. If you at all are a young parent who could be potentially struggling with feeling guilty about how your kids are turning out, this video is for you. Stay tuned. All right, so welcome. In this channel, we do our best to try to provide you with some actual practical solutions and essentially kind of brain-based solutions on how to come up with and ignite your own ideas for your own solutions in your life. Today is a video on me working with a parent who was feeling tremendously guilty that her son, who is in his mid-20s, her son was having difficulty in his life, and she was feeling tremendously guilty that she just did not do enough for him over the years. And so I'm going to walk you through an exercise that I walked her through and then show you exactly what she came up with to ignite her own ideas and her own next action steps that she needed to take. So let me describe this first, just for a basic understanding. Is there's two halves of your nervous system, which is important to know. There is the fight or flight stress response, and there's the rest relax system. Now, this woman came in and she was, she contacted me, said, I need to talk to you. I need to kind of go over this thing, and this is really bothering me, and my son's just not turning out quite right. He's having a lot of challenges and struggles, and I'm just feeling completely guilty as a parent that I just did not do enough for him. And so we sat down and we spent a couple hours together. And the first exercise that I brought her to is because the idea, the illusion, I guess you could say, that she didn't do enough for her child is kind of, she's not clear on that because of her stress and her suffering about it. So what I had her do is actually be able to articulate, well, what have you done for him? How have you supported him? And again, there's two halves of that nervous system. And so when the stress system, the fight or flight system, is activated, your emotions are kind of taking over. And there's another side of that nervous system, which is your support side. And so what I had her do, there's challenge and support, sympathetic, fight or flight, parasympathetic, rest, relax, and digest. And she was imbalanced on one side. She was challenged internally that she didn't do enough for him. So we asked her the question, okay, let's activate this part of your nervous system to identify where did you actually support him? Where was the support that you gave him over the years? And so a very quick, I try to give you quick strategies that you could use to implement these to get your brain and your mind right on and more accurate on what's happening. So I said, listen, what are ways that you supported your child to this point in his life, in the first 20-some years of his life? Well, I gave him money, food, housing, opportunity for counseling. I got him jobs. I helped him get a car. I got him his clothes, medications, an opportunity to look within. I helped him for school. I gave him a gym membership, massage, computer. I paid for his taxi, suit for weddings. I breastfed him. I did his laundry. I drove him to a whole ton of places over those years. I gave him opportunities to play sports like soccer and other sports that she invested in with him. Health food, personal trainer, first car, I mean, you name it. So as we're going through this list, she starts to see how she's actually supported him. And now these mean more to her than they do to me. These are kind of facts-based, but behind those facts that she was revealing, there's also feeling that goes on. There's a life experience with him that's behind some of these examples. So as you go through these repetitions, behind that there's going to be a feeling for you, and there's also going to be kind of an unpacking of this life experience that's going on. So again, behind these points is energy. There's energy and experience and life experience behind them. So as she's going through these, she's almost tearing up because she's seeing how much she supported this individual over the years. And she could see the enormous opportunity that she's presented to him. Now, she obviously got to a point where she kind of ran out of ideas in which way she supported. I said, okay, so now what comes to mind? Like, what's that next step for you to do with him? And she said, well, what I owe him right now is I owe to let him go. And I said, Okay, well, what does that mean? She said, well, that means, I said, well, what are the ways that you're hanging on? Like, what signs in your life, what actions are you taking regularly that show you that you're not letting go? And she said, okay, well, the first thing is I call him every morning to see how he's doing because I'm worried about him. Okay, so there's number one. Number two is I actually drive by his house regularly to check on him, kind of like to peer and sneak around and check on him. And I do that daily. And third is I research and I send him research and information on his health concerns and issues. So she said, well, clearly I need to stop doing those three. And I said, if you stop doing those three things, will that be a step in the direction towards letting him go? That you say that you owe him to let him go and let the bird fly on its own? Yes, that is what I need to do. And so the reason I was inspired by this particular example is because she came up with her own solutions. By balancing out her nervous system and seeing that she gave him just as much support as she gave him challenge over the years, and that she's ultimately, at this point in time, not responsible for his well-being anymore, she's able to say, what I really owe this individual is to let him go. And we had a conversation about just the bird and the nest, and like as a mum bird, you're kind of idea at the beginning is to build the nest, protect, make sure that the birds can fly off and go off on their own. But I mean, if the mom bird keeps flying around and checking on this bird that is trying to live a life, there's clear attachments there that she recognized and that she had to let go of. So she said, I need to let go and I need to stop these three behaviors, which are going to be difficult, but I understand and I can see that in order for him to flourish and really become his own man, I need to let him go. That's what I owe him now as a parent. Not to protect him, not to keep him as a dependent, but I got to let him go and let him fly. And she said, these are the top three things that I need to do that will show me that I am beginning the process of letting him go. And I said, sounds like wisdom to me. And then we followed up in a week, and she said, I'm having a little bit of struggle with number three because I'm trying to research a little bit. I still have a little bit of that kind of addiction there. But she said, I've cleaned up those first two. I'm not calling in the mornings, and I'm not driving by. So that is, I have let those go. And so she's in the process of letting go. So, but she wouldn't come to that conclusion. And she would have held on to the guilt because she wasn't seeing all the ways and all the beautiful ways in which she supported this young man over the course of his first 20-some years. But once you do that and you are more in a balanced, reasonable, realistic state of what actually took place over time, you're able to come up with exactly what you're needing to do in this moment. And she did that, and she's on her way to letting go and having him be more of a man. So I wanted to share that example with you because I thought, geez, like these are simple tools that we could utilize every day in our life to make life more harmonious and just releasing the stress and the bound stress that we get caught up in relationship dynamics. And I thought this would be a good one if you are a young parent or kind of like a mid-age parent out there. This would be helpful for you. So go and try this exercise if this is a problem for you or a challenge for you. I assure you, if you find enough ways that you've supported your child over the years, you will be ready on a new level to free each other up on that next level. So go for it, give it a shot. Let me know how it is, and we'll talk to you on the next video.